Happy Monday, and welcome to Audacity Presents, where we choose to live an audacious life for Christ 24/7, 365 days of the year, right? Listen, let me go ahead and get my replay out of the way because we have an exciting show for you today. My replay has been Able by Jonathan McReynolds. I don't know if you've listened to his new release, but this song is on there. And here's some of the words. You're more than able, ain't no problem that's too hard for a strong and mighty God. Yes, you are able, you're more than able. Time and time again, you prove I can always count on you. As I say every week, it is on my 2023 Spotify playlist. So go check out Jonathan McReynolds, Able. You're able. No, it's able. There we go. Listen, we got a great show for you. And I know you are wondering, Mary, are you still talking about the audacity to represent? And my answer is, oh, yes, we are still talking about the audacity to represent. And that represent is representing Christ. Now, no sooner than I finished the episode from last week, from reading Daniel chapter 6, it hit me with what we were talking about today. And I have been so excited to go back and read Daniel chapter 6. So let's recap, because we got to get into this, right? So remember, King Darius had appointed Daniel as one of the three commissioners ruling over the 120. There's some translations that say satraps, or another translation may say governor or prince. But Daniel was one of the top three commissioners that was over these 120 governors, right? But Daniel was one of the three at the top, and the king was thinking about promoting Daniel to the very top to be ruling over all of the realm of Babylon, right? I mean, Daniel was the man. And this is what's so interesting. Daniel wasn't doing anything. All Daniel was doing was representing God. Daniel was not going to get degrees so he could get promoted. Daniel was not networking and going to different meetings, trying to meet different people. No. Daniel was just being Daniel. Y'all can tell I'm excited because I'm talking really fast. Daniel was distinguishing himself above everybody else. And we saw that all he was doing was just being Daniel, representing God, what he had been taught and what he had learned as a child. That's all Daniel was doing. And so the other commissioners and governors, they didn't like that. Isn't that interesting? When you are minding your own business, people don't even like you minding your own business. Just thought I'd throw that in there. But that's something to think about. So the other people, the other commissioners, governors did not like Daniel being put over all of the realm of Babylon and how he had moved up the ranks. And so they had to do something, right? They had to come in and come up with some type of plan that would get Daniel in trouble. Let's just put it that way. And so these individuals went to the king, had the king to sign an order and said, look, king, oh, king, live forever. I think that's what it says in scripture. But they went to the king and they're like, hey, you shouldn't be letting anybody else pray to other gods unless it's you. You should make a decree, an order, an injunction that if people are going to pray, it needs to be to you. That's what they came up with. And so the king, being a Babylonian king, right, full of himself, is like, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, everybody should bow down and worship me. Seems like all the kings over Babylon, it was a pagan world, right? Maybe not a pagan world, but a pagan city. So all the kings wanted people to bow down and worship them, and King Darius was no different. So the king signed this injunction that if anybody worshiped any other god, that they would be thrown in the lion's den. And so when Daniel heard of this, what did he do? He did what he had always done. He represented God, meaning he prayed 3 times a day before this injunction, and that injunction was not going to stop him from praying to the one true God, his God. So he did what he had always done. He went and prayed. And these commissioners and other satraps found out about it and went and told the king. Again, Daniel was just doing what Daniel had always done. He wasn't bothering anybody, right? But they went and told the king that Daniel was going against his injunction. Look, there's so much in this chapter, and I'm so excited to talk about it. It won't be long, but let's just zoom in on one portion I want to talk about today. When the king heard that it was Daniel who was going against his injunction, the king knew he couldn't revoke his injunction. That would make him look like a bad king. So let's look at what the king was going through when he heard it was Daniel. Scripture tells us the king was in distress. The king hadn't broken the injunction. It was Daniel, but yet the king is the one that's in distress because he has to put Daniel in the lion's den. We read on in chapter 6. The king acknowledged that Daniel's God would rescue him. Think about this. The king who had created this injunction, now he has to follow through with Daniel. But then he says to Daniel, I know your God will deliver you. I was going to say it sounds kind of funny, but it does sound kind of funny that the king, the one who is putting him in the lion's den, is he himself acknowledging that Daniel's God will rescue him. Then you read on in chapter 6, it says the king fasted. It says the king canceled all his entertainment. It says the king couldn't sleep. I think one translation says sleep fled from the king. Wait a minute. Who's in the lion's den? Is it Daniel or the king? The king is going through all of this. He's in distress. He's fasting. He's canceling his entertainment. He couldn't sleep. And it makes me think we got it all wrong. Because when we are in the lion's den, we are the ones that are in distress. We are the ones fasting and praying for our situation. We are the ones that don't want to go out because we don't feel like going out. We are the ones tossing and turning at night. Listen, we got it all wrong. You see, when we are like Daniel and focused on representing God, we're not supposed to be the one in distress. When we are representing Christ, we're not supposed to be the ones that can't sleep. So let me ask you, what is your lion's den? Is it your job? Is it your home, your relationship, family? What is your lion's den? Because we've all got a lion's den. Oh, there is something that we are all losing sleep on or we are fasting about right now. But I'm here to tell you, we got it all wrong. You see, if we stand and represent Christ and let the owner of the lion's den be the one that's worried because of the God we serve, we can be at peace. We'll let the owner of the lion's den, that the one that's trying to put us in the lion's den, be the one that's in distress, be the one that can't sleep, be the one that's fasting. As long as we stand firm in who we represent, oh, we good. We good. The audacity to represent. The audacity to represent. Y'all need to think about that. The audacity to represent. Y'all have a good week.